نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الوالي الكريم وصلى الله على الأنبياء أجمعين والمسيح والمهدي والمجدد لنا المرسلين. Are we not the bearers of witness that nothing would exist if Allah didn't create it, and that He is alone and has no part, and that all gratitude is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sustainer of all the boundless universes. All gratitude is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the generous eternal friend, and send salutations of Allah on all of His prophets and His apostles, and on the Messiah, the anointed one, and on the Mahdi, the guide, and on the Mujaddid, the reformer, which was all sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We send greetings and we send peace throughout the boundless universe to all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
And now, The True Light, featuring As-Sayyid Al-Imam Isa Al-Hadi Al-Mahdi.
Yeah, I used to be down with the Nation of Islam, but Imam Isa, I got a few questions I want to ask you. I wrote down before I got here. One of them, like, how do you really feel about the Nation of Islam under Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Bismillahi ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. Begin all things with the illustrious name of Allah, the Yielder, the Most Merciful. I'm glad I finally got down to someone asking me this question directly, so it's not misinterpreted and misunderstood. As far as the Nation of Islam, as the followers of our great leader, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I feel that it was the best thing that has ever happened to the black man in America and eventually the whole world, when me and Minister Louis Farrakhan, who are now presently in dialogue, can come together as brothers for the betterment of our people. I feel that the work that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did, may Allah be very pleased with him, over all of these years, was for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was the upliftment of a dormant yet great nation of people, whom he referred to as the tribe of Shabazz, the lost but now found. And I refer to as Ishmaelites. When they say Shabazz and I say Ishmaelite, we're saying the same thing. Both times it's referring to the same nation, who are the gods of the planet Earth. I feel that Minister Louis Farrakhan has been betrayed many times.
What do you mean when you say Minister Louis Farrakhan is being betrayed?
For instance, I remember a tape when Minister Louis Farrakhan came back from Mecca from Hajj, and he was very happy that he encountered a young American Muslim who was a student of Arabic. And he opened his arms. Remember the size of the Nation of Islam and the position of Minister Louis Farrakhan as opposed to some everyday, run-of-the-mill, typical American Sunni Muslim. So Minister Louis Farrakhan opened his arms to this young man while in Mecca, and the young man opened his arms to Minister Louis Farrakhan only to get back to America and get brainwashed by Negroes who are servants of so-called pale Arabs, and then the same brother turned around and badmouthed the Minister Louis Farrakhan. I think these things are dangerous, and I think that is a form of betrayal of your own people, the same way that Judas betrayed Jesus.
If you really feel this way about the brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, how come you and him never get together?
Well, actually, me and Minister Louis Farrakhan are in dialogue, and we are coming together. And we're going to come together on the things that we can agree on, and we're not even going to look for each other's faults or shortcomings. For as mortals, we both can have them. We're not going to give the so-called pale Arabs, which I call them, and which my beloved brother refers to as the scholars, the benefit of seeing two great black leaders verse each other, and thus pull out of history two more faces. Meaning, if I don't teach my children to respect the picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the minister, Louis Farrakhan, doesn't teach his followers to recognize Imam Isa al-Hadi and Imam Muhammad Ahmed al-Mahdi of the Sudan, what happens is 4 more black men disappear out of history, while the white man is continuing to stamp Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and all the rest of his followers in our kids' minds, in textbooks, in the form of his education system. I'm saying that presently the Nation of Islam and the Ansar Allah community, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had put on the front of Muhammad Speaks, when he showed brothers in bow ties on one side and brothers in white robes on the other side shaking hands, that me and the Minister Louis Farrakhan are starting to shake hands. And we are together going to raise the nation that the man we both love and respect, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was trying to do. They're out seeking for a leader for the black man in America, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad was that leader. They just don't want to recognize him because white Arabs won't let them. And let me tell you what I feel about these pale Arabs. Like Minister Louis Farrakhan, I heard him in a speech, he's not concerned with white Arabs or scholars telling us who our leaders are, what we should educate our children with, how we should educate our children, when we should educate. 40 years ago, or way back in 1930, when the Nation of Islam was being born, pale Arabs were still living in the desert bush and was ignorant of their own teachings, while teachings about the original black man, being the Asiatic black man, maker, owner, and cream of the planet Earth, was being taught to the lost found in America. Now, if I sound like I'm in the Nation of Islam, I was never a follower as a student enrolled in the Nation of Islam, like many Sunni Muslims fabricate. But I would be honored to follow a man as great as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, after having traveled the Muslim world extensively and see how Muslims in Egypt, Sudan, and all other parts of the world can't unite blacks in their own countries. Right in Sudan, there's many different black tribes, and the only one that could unite them was Muhammad Ahmed al-Mahdi alayhi salam. After him, all kind of confusion. So for a man to be able to unite black men from all walks of life under one banner, he is a great man. And that great man is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if Minister Louis Farrakhan is walking in the footsteps of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then I am going to respect him. And I won't turn against or betray my brother, Minister Louis Farrakhan, for any Arab coming from Saudi, Pakistan, or any place else. Because blood is thicker than water. Savior's Day, I won't be out there physically, but I will be out there spiritually. And the day will come when me and Minister Louis Farrakhan will sit down for you people physically, not to debate, not to verse each other. The only thing you just do is shake and embrace in the name of Allah, the one creator. And as the leaders of two great tribes who were of one family, Abraham, you see love, unity, or as Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, will be working together for freedom, justice, and equality in order to have love, peace, and happiness. And I will do all I can to help the Minister Louis Farrakhan in his program, and I would hope that he would do all he can to help me in my program, and together our children will be one nation.
What do you think about Wallace D. Muhammad as a leader of the Nation of Islam?
I don't think that Wallace D. Muhammad was ever supposed to be the leader of the Nation of Islam. He didn't have the fire. He didn't have the water. He didn't even have the air to create the elements necessary to have a second resurrection. When Jesus the Messiah spoke about a second resurrection, he spoke about bringing a Lazarus who was dead back to life. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad oftentimes referred to the nation of black people in America as Lazarus, and that they were mentally dead. But when Wallace D. Muhammad took leadership, the Nation of Islam wasn't by far in a dead state. It was well awoke and well aware of who they are and who the devil is and what their goals and purposes were supposed to be. They didn't need somebody to come along and take the women out of their long dresses and take the men out of their FOI uniforms and strip the discipline and sell them over to pale Arabs for a small price. They didn't need this. So I feel that Wallace D. Muhammad is an intelligent young man in his own way and could have a lot to offer if he would comply with the teachings of his father and work under Minister Louis Farrakhan to try to bring that nation that he is partially responsible for making dormant back to life.
Why do you teach racism?
It's very funny, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to say this also. Just because we teach the truth, we're teaching racism. When the white man teaches you a bunch of lies about who discovered America and how you was an African naked, never tells you about the great kingdoms and how you civilized the world, he calls that history when he makes you get an inferiority complex. But the moment we start to point out how you're the original Asiatic black man, when I say Asiatic black man, I mean you were once in Asia under the prophet Noah, and in your family Noah moved into Africa, his sons Mizraim, his son Cush, his son Ham, and his son Shem, which is the Semitic, the Hamitic, the Cushites, or Nubians, moved into Africa. So while they were in Asia, they were called Asiatics. When they moved into Africa, they were not referred to as Africans. They were referred to as Nubians, Cushites, Hamitic, and Semitic people. So when Allah Muhammad said we were the Asiatic black man and woman, he was talking about when, after the flood of Noah, and Noah's family repopulated the earth, and then the white man came into existence. Now, Wallace D. Muhammad is as racist as y'all are claiming me and Minister Louis Farrakhan are, because he referred to his nation originally as Bilalians. And Bilal, as the so-called Arabs keep reminding y'all, was a black Habeshian or Ethiopian. We know that he was of the tribe of Judah. He passed the scepter on to the comforter Muhammad of Arabia. But they make it look like he was just a black man amongst all these pale Arabs. So when Wallace D. Muhammad reaches into this barrel of what the white man has taught him was all white Arabs and pulls out the one black man that they try to make you think was the only black man there, Bilal, because I like to make the point clear right now that the Prophet Muhammad was also black of Sudanese descendancy, and so was his uncle Al-Abbas, of course, and so was Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and Abu Bakr Sadiq, and them were red Arabs, but they make you think Bilal was black. So if he pulls out this name and identifies his nation as Bilalians, that is a racial statement, because he said that they are the Blackians. So don't be fooled into thinking that Wallace D. Muhammad is not a racist, and Imam Isa and Minister Louis Farrakhan, who both listen to the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, are racist, because Wallace D. Muhammad, by virtue of the fact that he referred to himself as Bilalian, that is a racist statement. And if he can fool the Arabs, he can't fool us who know. You can't fool a Muslim, not nowadays.
Do you think that it's a good idea that Wallace D. Muhammad said to take all the racial images out of the churches?
I don't think it's a good idea. And I'll tell you why. Because the white man has already stamped in our heads and our minds and our souls an image of all the prophets as white men. And then they make you think it's wrong for you to draw pictures of them as black men. I will keep the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's picture high, and I will make sure my children know that he was a black man and a black leader, and that the Prophet Muhammad was black. And I'll make a picture of the Prophet Muhammad and show how he was black, and how Bilal was black, and how Ali was black, and how Fatima was black, and how all of the prophets from Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and all of them was black, and prove it through the scriptures and through history. No, I think it was a wrong thing to say, remove them off your walls when they're already established in the children's hearts. And the Sunnis don't know what they're talking about, and they have no laws in any scripture to support it. And I'm going to go through a series of scriptures at this point so you can investigate it yourself. When in Christianity, regardless of what it says in Exodus 20, verse 4, they have images of Jesus and Mary and Paul and Saint this and Saint that and Saint this. In Christianity, they're not conscious of image. But I didn't say, and I won't say, that it's wrong and it's a sin. Because the man that says for anyone to have a picture of another human being or a drawing of another human being and say that that's a sin, the man that says that is the sinner. Because there is no law in Islam anywhere in any of the scriptures, especially not the Quran, because that's a scripture. And I do not classify hadith as scriptures. Those are writings of men, mostly light-skinned or what you might refer to as red or pale Arabs, who spend many years trying to make black people feel inferior. So what they say about color and pictures has no bearings in this conversation. Now, the point I'm trying to make out is that if African people, Sudanese, Somali, Nigerians, people of Ghana, Mauritania, the blacks of Morocco, the blacks of Libya, the blacks of Egypt, the Nubians of Aswan, if you don't start making black images of your descendants and make them known to your children the way the white Arabs do. Now let me talk to you so-called Sunnis in America who have so much to say about my followers selling black pictures of Ali and black pictures of Fatima. They were black. It's a historical fact. Ask one of your white Arab brothers. And concerning pictures, you tell me that you haven't traveled. Because as I traveled throughout the whole Arab world, I saw on multiple book stands in the city of Cairo, and anybody who's been there can tell you, pictures for sale in gold lit up frames. Now, I want you Sunni Muslims who spend so much time talking to my followers pertaining to symbols and images of men to tell me how can you receive money from Saudi Arabia as a salary or a stipend or a donation or a gift when these men are making themselves out to be an image of some type of immortality. According to y'all, the pictures we have are saying that we're violating some law that you find written in some hadith made up by some other white men. And I want you to tell me how they justify having the pictures of all these kings all over their houses. But when we do it, it's something wrong. We write up in our book, and then if you say, well, remember, these were the prophets. According to them, they got you believing that they're the descendants of the prophets. So what is the difference? In the eyes of Allah, there's no difference between the prophet or descendant of the prophet, because in the eyes of Allah, man was created equal. So we all understand that by the scripture. So tell us. We want you, Sunni, to tell us how you justify attacking our brothers by having pictures of Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, who were all black, descendants of ancient Nubia from Sudan, from the Prophet Nuh, alayhi salam, from the Prophet Abraham, or Ibrahim, alayhi salam, of which Muhammad, alayhi salam, came from, and Muhammad is black. And we have a picture of him drawn from 1,000 years ago that's been reproduced, and we're going to present that regardless of what you feel. Because we know how you work. One white Arab on one side of the world, another white Arab on another side of the world. The one on one side of the world produces a white picture of Muhammad, and we have them in multiple books, and we have definitely put in our book called Racism in Islam, and the new book we're putting out on images. And we have pictures where y'all have drawn white pictures of Muhammad on one hand, and then your other hand, another white Arab says, this is haram, this is forbidden. Once you've already established in our mind this white image, those days are over. Now we are putting out a picture, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, just close your eyes. And then when you tell us that we shouldn't do it, we will tell you, like the Quran says, bring your proof and show me where. You cannot do it. You cannot show me anywhere in the Holy Quran where it tells me I cannot have a picture of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can't show me anywhere in the Quran where it says I cannot have a picture of Nabi Ibrahim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Musa, or Isa, or Yahya, or Yunus, or Ayub, or Idris, or any of the other prophets from Adam all the way down to Rasulullah Muhammad, who is Khatam India. You can't show me anything. This is all innovation, things made up by your white leaders who want to keep you mentally inferior. Well, we refuse to pass this mental retardation on to our black sons and daughters, where they're looking up and worshiping white, pale Arabs because they think the Prophet Muhammad was white. Just like that new movie that they have out about Jesus, supposed to be about Jesus Christ, the biggest psychology you ever want to see in your life. And have everybody arguing over unvalid points about the movie. Meanwhile, what they're still in your mind is that Jesus was white. No one is addressing the fact that they got an image of a white, blonde hair, blue-eyed, or brown hair, beige-eyed, or pale-skinned brunette hair. No one's arguing the fact that they're making Jesus white, because meanwhile, white people are saying they're desecrating the image of God. They're saying Jesus was God incarnate. They're desecrating the image of God and saying that he had sex with Mary Magdalene and Mary Martha's sister. And yet, this is what y'all looking at. You're not looking at the fact that they're still telling you that he was white. And millions of people are going to see that. When they did the Prophet Muhammad movie, y'all didn't see that they said his uncle was Alabas. When he was dying, they showed Alabas laying up there as white as he could be. Y'all didn't see that. While you stupid black Sunni Muslims are out there arguing for half these pale Arabs, they're subliminally brainwashing you into an inferiority complex. Let me read off for you a list of places that you can go look if you have enough sense to go to the scriptures. Take Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 27, where it speaks about creating man in the image of Allah. Now, Allah says don't make images, that he created man in the image of Allah. What are you trying to say to me? That every man I see is in the image of Allah? That every person I see looks like Allah? That everybody on the planet looks different and Allah has multiple different faces? Or did he mean something in man is like himself? The word they use, musawir, from sawar, means to make a duplicate or picture. Man has the power to procreate like Allah. He does not look like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when a person has a picture of their father on their shelf, or a picture of their mother on their shelf, and you Sunnis have pictures of your relatives in your wallet, or on your driver's license, or on your passport, that you got to have a picture of yourself on in order for you to leave New York and go to Saudi Arabia for Hajj. Are you violating that same law? Because you have an image of yourself, and the man next to you, your friend, brother so-and-so who's going on Hajj with you, has a picture of himself on his passport, and if you look at his passport and see the image of himself, are you violating some law? Are you going against some divine commandment? Stop being so stupid. Stop being so easily brainwashed by Shaitan in the disguise of a man. He has you people so brainwashed that you can't recognize the truth. When we put up the picture of Muhammad Ahmed al-Mahdi, alayhi salam, black, that's what he was. And we want our children to know what he was. And we put off the picture of Ali, that's what he was. We want our children to know what he was. Let me make this clear. If they didn't put out these white pictures, we would have never had to put out black pictures, because we'd all looked at each other just as servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But y'all are so slick, you pale Arabs. You put them out and then ban them. Ayatollah Khomeini's pictures all over the place. What's his name? Gaddafi's pictures all over the place. Hosni Mubarak from Egypt, his pictures all over the place. Hassan from Maghreb, from Morocco, his pictures all over. They sell his picture all over Morocco. While you people are spending time attacking the Ansar Allah community, why don't you have the courage to attack the real Muslim world, as you call it? Why don't you go up against your so-called white leaders who pay your bills, who give you a new kind of Islamic welfare? All they want you to do is infiltrate and cause conflict inside America to suppress the blacks and keep them away from coming to the truth, and they give you a little salary, some of you so-called imams, while some of you congregations ask your imams, are you on any kind of salary in any kind of way from the white Arabs who have yachts and mobile homes and all kind of Mercedes, hundreds of Mercedes-Benz and all kind of wealth that they flaunt in London and in New York and out in the western parts of the United States. Ask them, ask your imams, if your congregation, if you're not afraid, are they receiving any kind of money in any kind of way from any of these people who are not living the Sunnah of Rasulullah? The very headpiece that the Saudi Arabians wear, which comes from tying a camel's leg, has nothing to do with the way Rasulullah dressed. He wore a white imma, a white turban, a tagiyah, and a long jalaba or jalabiya or jubba, however y'all want to distort the pronunciation of it, and that's how he dressed. And anybody who don't dress like that is not wearing sunnah. He had a beard, a span hand, and when he got older, his wife would hit him in it, would turn a portion of the gray red. He did not have a red beard. He had dark black skin and thick hair, and you know it because in your hadith that you believe in, you say his wife Aisha braided his hair. Black people braid their hair throughout Africa. No countries in the world are known for braiding except Africans. So if the Prophet Muhammad was getting his hair braided by his wife Aisha, then what kind of texture hair did he have? Well, in your hadith you say it was slank, which is a trick word of saying straight. You can't braid straight hair. The Prophet Muhammad had dark, piercing eyes, dark brown skin. He wasn't even a light-skinned Negro. He was extremely dark, short, stocky. Wasn't a very attractive man to look at. This is the description of Rasulullah. Now, when you put all that together, you come out with a Sudanese. You come out with a short, dark-skinned, kinky-haired man who had a mustache. He had a mustache. After you students who cut your mustache off because of some backward hadith, it says clip your mustache so that the hairs don't enter your mouth. It does not say cut your mustache off. Clip the hairs so they do not enter your mouth, which means you cut around the mustache. Rasulullah had a mustache and a beard. If you don't have a mustache and a beard that span long, you're not following the sunnah. If you don't wear a white imma, a turban, and a white tagiyah, and a white jalabiyah, you're not following the sunnah. There's no blues and reds and plaids. And as for you Sunni Muslim women, they got wearing Pakistani pants. There is no pants for Muslim women in Islam. Muslim women wear dresses. They did not wear pants back in Rasulullah's time. They wore dresses. And these men who got y'all wearing half American clothes, you got your kids wearing headpieces and dungarees, they are leading you on the path of your destruction. They're leading you to hell. And they are following these pale Arabs who know what they're doing. They're trying to make Islam one of the monotheistic religions. Islam does not fall into one of the monotheistic religions. Allah says in the Quran, the only way of life before Him, the only one is Deenul Islam, which is Millat Ibrahim al-Hanifan. It doesn't fall in with Christianity. We don't blend with Christianity. We don't blend with Judaism. We don't blend with any other thing but Millat Ibrahim. And Millat Ibrahim didn't practice Judaism. The Quran says that. And he didn't practice Christianity. The Quran says that. He was an upright man and a Muslim. You understand? So wherever y'all are getting these doctrines from, it's not from the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm warning you people, you better be on your guard because Shaitan, the devil, is very busy in the Muslim world now. He has given him the most important thing, wealth, because it says, what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And that's exactly what they're doing. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not the possession of money, the love of it. Now the Arabs are caught up in the love of money, and they're losing their very souls. Look at Genesis, like I said. Go ahead and read Genesis 26:27, or read Genesis 5:3, or read Genesis 9:6. Go to Exodus 23:24, or Exodus 34:13. Go to Deuteronomy 7:5, or Deuteronomy 16:22. Go to 1 Kings 14:23, or 1 Kings 3:2, or go to 1 Kings 10:26, or 10:27. Go to 2 Chronicles 14:3, or 2 Chronicles 31:1, or 2 Chronicles 23:17. Look at Hosea 3:4. Look at Daniel 23:31 through 38. Look at Job 4:16. Look at Hosea 10:1 and 2. Look at Amos 5:26. Look at Numbers 33:52. Look at 1 Samuel 6:5 through 11. Look at the Psalms 72:20. Look at Ezekiel 7:20. Look at Ezekiel 16:17. And look at Ezekiel 23:14. Look at the books of Judges 17:3, 17:4, 18:14, 18:17, 18:18, 18:25, 18:30, and 18:31. just to name a few quotes in the scripture that deal with the very word image. Nowhere in there is anything forbidden about you having pictures of people. It's telling people, do not make idols of Allah. Do not try to make partners with Allah. It has nothing whatsoever to do with pictures of Rasulullah, pictures of the prophets, pictures of, they even in Mecca, in the holy city, got pictures of the angel Gabriel with wings and all of that. And they draw these pictures and they make it very legal. Why? Because I'm black, does it make a difference? Because I'm making a black image, is that what the problem is? Because as long as they were feeding y'all Sunni Muslims in Mecca, I know you saw me, you went on Hajj, because they had them on the streets telling them, with these white images of Abraham sacrificing his white son, and white images of Moses, you were very content, and white images of angels. But the moment I say it, all of a sudden it makes a big difference. You are afraid to stand up for what your very heart is telling you. And your heart is telling you that you are the original man. You are the owner of the planet Earth. You are the descendants of Adam, not the pale race. They are here by way of a curse. I'm telling you, white Arabs do not want you to teach your children that the descendants of the prophet Noah from Adam was black, because they'll remove that inferiority complex you have and that royal attitude that the Ansars walk around when you see my brothers in the streets that they're white on, that pride or proud and dignity that they gain back from having freedom, justice, and equality within inside themselves. They got to have you walking around humble, have you bowing to them and prostrating to their desires and their egos because they feed you a couple of pennies or they bribe your leaders and turn you all against each other. You Sunnis come together and say, we're different and we're so abstract, we're not Muslims. All you have the same doctrine, read the same Quran, follow the same hadith, and you all can't even form one Jamaat. Yet you're talking about the Ansar Allah. You got all these masjid and all these different names, Masjid Mu'min, Masjid Ikhwa, Masjid Taqwa, Masjid Abu Bakr, all these different scattered sects that y'all have bred within the sect. Not only are y'all a sect from the Shia or Wahhabi or Sunni, but now y'all are little teeny sprinkles of sects. And all of y'all are fighting against each other, trying to outdo each other instead of coming together. You don't know when the sun is rising, as they say, because the sun doesn't rise. And it's sad that they got y'all believing that the sun rises. They tell you when the sun rises, when we see the new moon. They got y'all so confused. The sun doesn't move. I wish y'all would do some research. The planet is doing the moving. And if you know how the planet moves, you'll always know where the moon is going to be at when the month of Ramadan comes in. If you don't, you keep listening to silliness about sun rising and where the moon comes, you're always going to be brainwashed. You better get away from these people. I'm warning you, my people. You better get away from these people. They are working for Satan. I'm going to tell you one more time. Don't tell me nothing about no images of no prophet until you can prove it. Because you people are guilty of innovation just for the very fact that you're taking words of men and making them look like words of Allah. You cannot show me, and I repeat, you cannot show me anywhere where it is wrong to have a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, or a picture of Musa, or a picture of Isa, or a picture of Idris, or a picture of the Mahdi, or a picture of anybody, as long as you got a picture of yourself on your passport, a picture of your mother and father in your house. There is no difference. And you better stop lying to the world, and you first of all better wake up and make sure your children do get a black image in their mind so that black people the world over will stop walking around with this inferiority complex. I'm talking about images. The Nation of Islam had Master Prophet Muhammad as Allah in the flesh. That was an image. And Elijah Muhammad's picture, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I should add. And now they have Farrakhan and Warab D. Muhammad. Warab D. Muhammad talks about how we should remove images, yet he has his picture inside his magazine. So what is the difference between him? There is no picture of Allah. Everybody knows there's no picture of Allah. And nobody can make no image or no picture of Allah. They wouldn't know where to start drawing it. Or how to start taking, where they take a picture toward the sky. If you want to take a picture of Allah, you have to take a picture of everything in creation. Every ant, every human being, every butterfly, every bird, every fish, every flower, every mountain, every pebble, every grain of salt, every grain of pepper, every kernel of corn. You'd have to take a picture of everything just to get an inclination of what the incarnation of Allah is, because He placed Himself in this world, and that is the breath of life. I repeat, you people better be on your guard against speaking about things you don't know. You're being led by innovators. And just because they're telling you things, you think it's right. Show us somewhere where it says, in the scriptures, I say, don't bring me no hadith written by no mortal man like me. Bring me something written in the scriptures of Allah where it says we can't have pictures of the Prophet Muhammad, or we can't have pictures of any of the prophets. You can't find it. It's not there. And again, I repeat, don't bring me no hadith written by no man. I'm not interested in what men say. I'm interested in what our Creator says. He never told me anywhere, He Himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in any of the scriptures, that I should listen to some hadith. He told me multiple times that I should not listen to anything. He says, this Quran doesn't have no doubts in it. If it has no doubts, then it is complete. I don't need anything else. If you want to follow men outside, that's your own prerogative. We will be looking through the crystal city at you in hell. So don't approach my followers about anything pertaining to pictures or images unless you see us trying to draw an image or picture of Allah. That is a sin. Other than that, you don't know what you're talking about, so back off until you understand the truth.
And Imam Isa, I have noticed many pictures of black leaders here. Can you explain why there are no famous white leaders?
Look on the wall, really, you see Elijah Muhammad, Sheikh Dawood, Noble Jew Ali, Sayyid Sadiq al-Mahdi. You see a variety of different schools of thought. All of them are black. Our interest is not what they taught, is the image in our children's mind of black leadership, which we do not have. I don't care whether Malcolm X's doctrine differed from Elijah Muhammad, or whether Honorable Elijah Muhammad's doctrine differed from Noble Jew Ali, or whether Noble Jew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, and Malcolm X's doctrine differed from Sheikh Dawood, or whether Sheikh Dawood, Noble Jew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, right, all different from Sayyid Sadiq al-Mahdi. I don't care, because I want all of their followers to come out so we can get to the truth of the matter. And I keep their pictures there because there were black leaders in the West. The white man is not ashamed to keep his leaders in your face. Take $1 out your pocket. Anything from a 1 to a quarter to a penny, all the way up to 1,000 to $1 million bill, you see the face of his history on it. We will not remove the faces of our history and let them instill in our children white images. If you, as a man, want your son to worship white people and see you as inferior, that is your prerogative. But you cannot show me nowhere in the Quran where it tells you that I can't give a picture of a black man to my son, whether he is a prophet or not. I can show any picture I want to my son that I want. Because if you got a passport to go to Mecca, and I look over your shoulder and I see your picture, what I'm sure is a sin. If you got a picture of yourself on the passport, ain't an Islamic leader in the world. You Ikhwani Muslim people have pictures of Sheikh Hassan al-Banna, the followers of Warab D. Muhammad. You'll have pictures of Warab D. Muhammad pointing two fingers at his head in a whole bunch of magazines, pictures of himself all over the place. Don't talk to me about black images, because I'm interested in the brothers who told us we could do something for ourselves. So I'm not interested in the difference between Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad's doctrine, and you wasn't there, so you don't know what really happened.
Basically, can you explain about drinking wine?
There's no such thing as basically with right. You can't be right and basically, first of all. If you're right, you're right, and you're basically your approximation. We don't deal in approximations. If you read our books, you see not only the people's name, you see when they were born and when they died. Of people y'all never knew because you didn't take the time to calculate. We've researched the names of people, wives and women who y'all never knew their names because you didn't bother to do research. Answer Allah does not deal in approximations. If you notice that in our books, we don't have approximations. They say it's this, it could be this, or it could be this, but it's this. They say he was born here or there, but he was really born here. They say he died at this, it could have been this year, but he really died this year. We don't deal with that. We're all wise, right, and exact. We don't deal with approximations. You got us mixed up with somebody else. And we do feel that the only thing to teach our people is raw truth. No adulteration, no innovation, what it says. And this is why we're not liked. Because I'm the type of imam that says the Quran does not say you cannot drink. The Quran says do not become sakran, drunk. It doesn't say you can't drink wine. It says don't become drunk. But it does tell you you can't smoke and you can't use hashish or cigarettes because those are intoxicants, poison. Wine is not an intoxicant. In fact, the Proverbs, the 31st Proverbs, tells you how to use wine when a person is sick or going crazy or been wounded. So Allah back then is the same Allah of the Proverbs, the same Allah of the Quran. He doesn't change his mind. He doesn't make mistakes. You understand? So we answer Allah. We deal for things what they are. And that's why we'll put a picture of Ali up, a picture of the Prophet Muhammad up, black. And if y'all say anything about it, we're going to say, show it to us and prove it to us. And don't go to Exodus and try to quote a quote that's dealing with people making images of Allah, unless you're trying to tell me Muhammad is Allah. We don't make images of Allah, but we can make a drawing of any man, and you people drew pictures of Bilal. On Bilal books that y'all have out, that you Sunni Muslims put out, y'all have pictures of Bilal written in them. You had pictures, you showed Bilal as a black man in the Muhammad movie in Arabic and in English. You showed Ali, you showed Abu Bakr, you showed Abu Sufyan, you showed Hamza, you showed all these people's faces. Are y'all guilty of shirk? Is this a sin? We don't play that. We come straight from the truth, and nothing but the truth, because truth is truth. If you can't handle it, then stay away from us. We don't need y'all. We never needed y'all. Y'all never supported us, and we're still progressing. What if we came in, picked up a multi-million-dollar business and let it flop? We was here. We watched it fall. We watched when Elijah Muhammad passed, and we watched it crumble. We watched the Sunnis fall. We watched the Shia fall. We watched the Ayatollah thing fall. We watched Colonel Gaddafi thing. We watched all the people you follow other than us fall. And we still stand. Where are the black planters and the young lords and all your revolutionary African groups and the Yorubas and Eureka smoking hippies reciting poetry? Where are y'all? Ansar Allah was there in 1970. And from 70 right on up to 1988, we're still here. Where's Dar Islam and Yasid and the Islamic Brothers? Where are their leadership? What have they taught their children? Tell them to bring and present to me 20 kids, 20 black grown kids who are fluent in classical Arabic like we can. Go ahead, bring it out. We deal with rights and exacts. We don't play. We're interested in our nation. We're interested in raising our people and our flag. And we're interested in the rebirth of our culture within inside ourselves. And if y'all don't want to hear it, that's just too bad, because Ansar Allah community is going to move on with y'all or without y'all.
Imam Isa, can you explain why the Sunni Muslims say the Bible is tampered with, and why they still stress the use of hadith?
As revealed to us in all of his scriptures, without making distinctions between the scriptures or the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unfortunately, Shaitan, which you know as the devil, has crippled the world with lies and propaganda which are based on the traditions of men, and they indeed have set aside the laws of Allah. You find the world today is saturated with many sects of Muslims and Christians and even so-called Jews. I would like to set this record straight. The truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether you call him Allah, Elohim, Yahweh, or Jehovah, whatever name you chose to use to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his law is one. His law is the same in all of his scriptures as sent down to all of his apostles and prophets to be related through the angels to men. Man is suffering from wanting to be a part of Allah's mission on earth. It's called innovation. The so-called Orthodox Muslims don't realize that when they use the very name Orthodox, which is Greek, that's a form of innovation. But they are ignorant, so we'll pretend that they just don't know any better. When you say the word Sunni Muslim, you're ascribing yourself to a specific sect that's governed by certain beliefs that, if stripped away, they would become Muslims. Meaning, if they lay aside customs and traditions of men, which they call hadith, or sunnah, and not sunnatullah, which is found in the Quran al-Kareem. There are words in the Quran al-Kareem where it uses sunnatullah, which is referring to Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is known as Abraham sunnah, or Muhammad alayhi salam, known as Muhammad sunnah, or before Abraham and Muhammad when we talk about Idris. And the Sunni Muslims, for one, are too ignorant to accept the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without the innovations of men, which they call hadith. And they have the audacity to affix the word sahih, which is merely an Arabic word meaning correct or right, to these hadith, and then tell the ignorant of the world that because they have written the word sahih there, that makes it correct. They're so ridiculous that there are hadith that say that Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam got his calling from his wife Khadija's uncle, who was a reader of the scripture and a reciter of the scripture, who some even say was blind, which means he actually had memorized the scripture. Now, This man called Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Islam and prophethood based on what he had read in some scriptures that was revealed prior to Rasulullah, or as the Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah, qablaka, before you, Muhammad. So the scriptures before. Now, the Sunni Muslims will say that when they talk to Americans especially, or an Indian or someone in any other country other than Arabic-speaking countries where they're not familiar with the Bible, immediately that the scriptures of Allah other than the Quran are tampered with. What they fail to see in their ignorance is by saying that, what they're really saying is the man who was Khadija, the Prophet Muhammad's first wife's uncle, who told Rasulullah that he was a prophet based on the scriptures, had to also have been reading a tampered scripture. And if this man was indeed reading a tampered scripture, then it's his opinion of Rasulullah being a prophet to be accepted. And if you Sunni Muslim accept his words that Muhammad was a prophet and he read the scripture, please tell us what scriptures was he reading. And if you say he was an Israelite, or of Yahuda, or Jew, as you call him, or a Qassim, or a Nazarite, or a Christian, as you call him, then he was reading the Torah or the Injil, or the books of those prophets, which is Isaiah and Ezekiel, etc. And he was reading this after you declared the books tampered with. Unless you're saying they didn't get tampered with until Muhammad came, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that would be totally wrong. Not to mention, you're suffering from another degree of ignorance, because then you say that the Quran says that the Torah and the Injil have been, words in it have been altered by Jews. You overlook the fact that when you make this statement that the Torah and Injil have been, words in them have been altered from their places by Jews, that Rasulullah Muhammad had relocated from the holy city of Mecca over to the city of Medina to Nur, the city of light called Medina. When he arrived there, he encountered several black Israelite tribes who had migrated from Israel and from Ethiopia around the 7th century. Was from Israel because the so-called Romans took over and pushed the black Israelites over there. When he got to Medina, he encountered these people. And you say that these people tampered with the Torah and Injil. Now, what I'm saying is, if they migrated away from Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was the holy city, and the sacred scriptures was kept in the holy temple in Jerusalem, then these men in Medina tampering with the Quran would no way at all affect the original scriptures of the Torah that was in the holy city in Jerusalem. Think for a minute, because I know that's a problem, because whenever the white man is talking to you, white Arab, you'll automatically believe everything he's saying, and you don't stop and use your own faculty. Stop for a moment and forget the fact that you just don't like me because I'm black and I speak the truth and I have no fear. I'm not a Tom, I don't soft you, and I don't shuffle with your white Arab friends. Stop and think about what I'm saying. What they're telling you people, and they're underestimating your intelligence, is that the whole world of Judaism, or of the Israelites, and all the people who preserved the scriptures were tampered with because a couple of tribes who migrated into Medina, you understand, had altered words just so that people would not know that the Prophet Muhammad was the comforter, or the Ahmed mentioned in the scriptures, which the Quran confirms. That these people knew that the Prophet Muhammad was that prophet as well as they knew their own sons. So now you're telling me that because in Medina, this little teeny city, away from Jerusalem, because some men there who didn't like Rasulullah Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, altered words to distort it, all the Torahs in the whole world, all the Bibles in the whole world became altered because of that. What about the fact that in Morocco, they have a Moroccan script called Maghribian script, and it moves the nuqtas from the top to the bottom, removes both the nuqtas off the letter Qaf. It doesn't have any nuqta on the letter Nun, and it adds the nuqta on the letter Alif. And if a person did not know how to read Arabic well, when they read those scriptures, they would be confused. They would not be able to differentiate. That would be altering words. That's altering the letters around, shuffling things around. Another thing I want to point out to you, Sunni Muslims, is if you only stop to think, y'all are guilty of altering the Quran. Now that might shock you. Let me make it very clear. When you look at the flag of Saudi and you see La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and you've made it one sentence, bear in mind that nowhere in the Holy Quran, I repeat, nowhere in the Holy Quran will you find La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. You will find La ilaha illallah, and you will find Muhammad Rasulullah, but you will find Isa Rasulullah, you will find Nabi Ibrahim, you'll find many prophets, but nowhere will you find them together. So, is it innovation on the part of whoever did it after the Prophet Muhammad? Whoever did it. Is it innovation? Is it innovation because in the Adhan, by the Mu'azzin Bilal, they say, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Abdul Rasulullah. Is that innovation? Because you're saying right there, you're binding partners with Allah. You're not going to accept this because you are summun bukmun ummun.
Do you think the Nation of Islam will be as strong as it was under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I think the Nation of Islam is already back and already as strong as it was when you think of the Ansar-Allah community and the Nation of Islam as one family. You see? And we're more like the religious fanatics, and they're more like the military, and you follow, and the business entrepreneurs. And when we combine these two, we have a healthy and a sensible society, which all societies have. The religious ministry as well as the business end. Not saying that they're not religious, and it's not for them to say that we're not business. But I think the Nation of Islam, like Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it will fall away and it will come back even greater and never fall again. When this bond is made and the Ansars will walk up and start shaking hands with brothers from the Nation of Islam with sincere hearts on the streets, and the brothers from the Nation of Islam will walk up and start shaking hands with Ansars, and people will see our love. And we start reading the final call, and they start reading the Ansar Allah publications, and we find the things that we have in common as brothers, the nation will be stronger than when Honorable Elijah Muhammad was here, and he will be greatly pleased in seeing this day that we had waited so long for.
What happens when you and the Nation of Islam come together, and as we see the Ansars wear long white robes like the Sudanese, and the Nation of Islam wears suits and bow ties, and are clean-shaven, will this cause a conflict of interest?
As I said before, we're not coming together to find fault in each other. We're coming together to find the things about each other that we like, the things about each other that we agree upon, and things about each other where we can appreciate both of our labors in raising our people out of this state. So we will not get into that. If I decide to put on a bow tie tomorrow to feel comfortable around Minister Louis Farrakhan, and for him to feel comfortable around me, I'll do it. And I'm quite sure, and he has, put on white robes before himself. Again, I'm saying we're not going to give the devil the opportunity to find some type of fault or conflict of interest. That's not what we're coming together for. We're coming together for our future and our children and our nation.
Imam Isa, the Nation of Islam does not stress the Arabic language in prayer as you do. Would this cause any conflict of interest?
Again, I said there will be no conflict of interest. But let me say this, that everything that I know about Arabic and prayer to teach, I will do everything in my power to extend it to the Nation of Islam, meaning that we will supply them with Arabic teachers if they want, prayer teachers if they want. If they say, we don't want to learn Arabic and we don't want your form of prayer, I am not saying the Nation of Islam has to come up under Imam Isa. And I'm quite sure Minister Louis Farrakhan is not saying that the Ansar Allah has to come up under the Nation of Islam. I'm saying we're already one nation under Allah. And as long as we're individual, no one can conquer us. So I will not let trivial things like that interfere at this stage, of our coming together. I'm looking for the best in our relationship for our people.
Imam Isa, in your book on the messenger of the messengers, right and exact, you mentioned a fake Farad and a real Farad. It seems you and Minister Farrakhan cannot agree on that point.
Again, I repeat, right? I'm not interested in a fake Farad or a real Farad, or that's not our interest. to the Nation of Islam, Master Farad Muhammad, or Fard Muhammad, however the public wants to hear it, is the Mahdi and the Messiah. That's their teachings. And to us, the Mahdi was Muhammad Ahmed of the Sudan, and the Messiah was Isa and Maryam. You follow? The Messiah to come at the end, they're saying, is Master Farad Muhammad. I am not going to wrestle with that. I don't have the right to. You follow? Because I can be as guilty as any Jew who presupposed, because he wasn't saying things the way they wanted to hear it, that he was false and wanted to kill him. I am not looking for that kind of stuff coming together as one family. I'm looking for the things that we agree on.
ربنا أكمل لنا نورنا وأكثر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. This is from the 56th surah of the Holy Quran, the 8th verse. And read, O sustainer, complete for us our life, and forgive us, for surely you have the power over all things.